I looked over the cove, and there was Bush's father holding a rake, kind of looking at me. And speaking of Bush's father, he is appalled, horrified at what his son has done by invading Iraq. He was so opposed to it before it happened that he sent his former Secretary of State and national security expert to write op-eds and go on TV saying it was not a good idea. That's Jim Baker and Brent Scowcroft. A few days ago, there's a club in Washington called the Alfalfa Club. Actually, it was a few weeks ago. And it's all the hoi polloi, and they put on their black ties. It's the power structure. It's a little building. They call it the Alfalfa Club. And Daddy Bush was there. And a friend of mine who's an investment banker in Boston was selected to sit at his table. And he was told by an old friend of Bush, he said, you know, you can talk about anything with Mr. Bush, except two things. Don't talk about the death of his infant daughter many years ago, or his son in the Iraq War, because it's too painful. Now, here's a son who used to be a wastrel, a drunk, actually got into rages with his daddy, slugged him once or twice. Each congressional district. So you can't get it all from Charlottesville or Richmond. You have to spread it out. And then when you do it, they're rather nasty in the state government. You know, they're not used to any competition. So they have different ways to strike signatures here and there. Now, with your help, we're quite confident that we're going to get on the ballot this time. We've got a good crew of people who are mostly young people, but we'd also like people just to do their bet and their neighborhood friends, relatives, co-workers, get 20, 25 signatures. And you've got over a month to do it. Is there anybody here who could just do that? You know, 10, 20, 25 signatures. Well, there'll be signature sheets passed out if they haven't already told you so. Now, what is the main problem here that we confront now? Matt Gonzalez is a civil rights leader in San Francisco. He was elected years ago to head the San Francisco City Council. So it was called the Board of Supervisors, which is, you know, the highest post. I like to hitchhike, just a little adventure, and you meet new people that way. And but in the process, the trucks would pick me up, and we'd come on crashes before the ambulance and the police, and that really a grisly sight, painful screams, groans, silence, severed limbs. It was like a bombing raid on the highway, and that's what got me really going on auto safety. I had lost, like many of you, a lot of friends in high school and college, and I decided to do something about it. And so I would hitchhike occasionally from Connecticut to Washington to contact members of Congress and departments and the executive branch to see if they would go for a change of federal auto safety policy, which was nothing at that time. And a truck driver picked me up in Delaware, and he said, "Hi," he said, "come on." He says, "Where are you going?" I said, "Going to Washington." He said, "What are you doing that for?" He said, "Well, I'm going to federally regulate General Motors. They take care of our children, they clean up after us, they harvest our food, they take care of our ailing parents, etc. Pretty needed work. And so they have been incorporated, and their taxes are withheld. They're not going to get Social Security. Their taxes are withheld. So there's an equitable doctrine in law which says something that may begin as illegality is in effect neutralized by acceptance over time by the legal system, because they are working, they are having their taxes withheld. And so there's no way, you know, you're going to deport 12 million people, but you do have to control the borders from now on. We have to control the borders for 4 reasons. There's a lot of illegal activity, smuggling, drugs, etc. And that's another thing, that the war on drugs needs to be completely revamped. Number two, we have infectious diseases. Number three, we have pollution going both ways over the Rio Grande. Number four, we have illegal entry. So we have to control our borders, and not just south. They come in on the East Coast, they come in on the West Coast in Canada. They're bringing in slaves, in effect, from China, involuntary servitude. The human trafficking is in the hundreds of thousands. That's essential slavery, kids and women. So we have to control our borders. So now, can you imagine me boiling that down in 8 seconds? Here we have this crazy system of huge communication technologies. Never have we had more radio stations, never have we had more TV channels, and they want you to knock it down. I know when I'm interviewed by NBC or ABC, in my mind is I have whatever.